state of play when police were called to the Golden Sands resort in Bulgaria in the summer of 2014. The report was coming from a man who claimed that some people had robbed him and injured him so badly that he may lose his hearing. His name was Lars Mittank, and he looked like this. He'd arrived there 5 days earlier with a large group of friends. They were German holidaymakers looking for a good time. The incident that prompted the visit from the police happened after midnight. The young men had been drinking and they got into an argument with a group of fellow partygoers, reportedly over a football match being shown on the TV in their hotel lobby. Lars had found himself on the wrong end of a punch, and now he was complaining of an excruciating pain in his left ear. He was taken to hospital, where a doctor told him that his eardrum had ruptured and prescribed him medication. But there was another problem. Lars needed to catch a flight back to Germany, but the doctor strongly advised against it. According to Lars' friend, Benjamin, they offered to stay behind with him and look after him until he was better. But Lars insisted on traveling alone. He booked a seat on a later flight that same day and made his way to the airport. There have been reports that Lars was behaving erratically by this point, as well as the physical pain in his ear. He seemed to be in a bad way psychologically. He began sending his mother a stream of paranoid text messages saying that he did not feel safe and that people were following him. He even asked her to cancel his credit card because he believed that someone had already stolen it. When his friends arrived at the airport, they noticed that he wasn't in the right frame of mind to travel. Lars appeared distracted and agitated, and when he went to check in for his flight, he was denied boarding because he no longer had his passport. Somehow, it had gone missing. Eventually, after phoning his mother, Lars was able to prove his identity, and he was allowed to board the plane. His friends watched him walk away, and they saw him turn back as if he wanted to speak to them. Then he disappeared through the security gates. In the minutes before takeoff, Lars made 2 calls, both of them to his mother. These calls were recorded and played a crucial role in the bizarre story. In the first call, he told her that he couldn't hear anything, and that people were standing next to him. He ended the call and then phoned her again. This time he told her that he could untear out of his left ear, and that people were staring at him. His mom calmed him down and told him to rest. She believed that he was exhausted and stressed and that he needed to sleep. The last thing she heard him say was, "Okay, I'm going to sleep." And then the line went dead. After takeoff, Lars sent his mother a text message that said, "I love you," which was odd because he never said those 3 words to her. Then everything went quiet. His mom didn't hear from him again. Now, the plane was due to land in Germany around 3 hours after takeoff, but Lars was not on the passenger list. At some point during the flight, he had gotten off the plane and he hadn't been missed. The airline did not realize that he was missing until they checked the cabin after the flight had landed. Lars's seat was empty. The only things left behind were his backpack, his passport and wallet, and his phone. His friends had tried calling him, but his phone went straight to voicemail. His mother tried calling him, but her calls also went straight to voicemail. As soon as Lars' mom realized that something was very wrong, she called the German authorities and reported him missing. Then she started calling every hospital in the area to see if he might have turned up somewhere injured. She knew that Lars would never miss a flight. She knew that he wouldn't ignore her calls, and she knew that he wouldn't leave his passport behind. Something terrible had happened. Meanwhile, at the airport staff had checked the CCTV footage, and they saw Lars getting off the plane and walking away. They traced his steps to a car park on the other side of the airport. There was footage of Lars running across the tarmac and through the car park. But after that, the footage stopped. The last place that Lars was definitely seen was on July 8, 2014, at 7:39 p.m. And here's the most important piece of footage. It shows Lars running across the airport forecourt and disappearing into the trees. Now, the investigators were baffled. Why would Lars leave the airport? Why would he leave his passport behind? And why would he run into a forest and not make any effort to contact anybody? The police eventually managed to access his mobile phone, and they tracked its last location to the woods near the airport. Divers searched the nearby lake, but they found nothing. Dogs sniffed around the trees, but Lars' scent quickly faded away. There was almost no trace of him at all. It's worth remembering that at this point, the authorities didn't know anything about the fight in the hotel or the fact that Lars' ear had been ruptured. It took some time to track down his friends and find out exactly what had happened. But even when they knew everything, it didn't bring them any closer to finding Lars. He was reported as a missing person in several countries and on every continent, but to this day, he has never been found. The last confirmed sighting of Lars is that of a naked man running through a cornfield in a small village a few miles away from the airport. He was spotted on CCTV cameras wearing nothing but his shoes and socks. Following these sightings, the police found some of his clothing, including his shorts, lying on a riverbank. But still, there was no sign of Lars. The river was extensively searched, but no trace of him was ever found. It has been almost 8 years since Lars vanished, and there have been no significant developments in the case. His parents keep searching for answers, and his mother keeps trying his phone in the hope that it will be switched on. Now, over the years, many theories have emerged about what happened to Lars. Some believe that he experienced a psychotic episode and that he either died or is living somewhere in a severely traumatized state and unable to function normally. Others believe that he was abducted or killed by traffickers. His erratic behavior at the airport could have been explained by a severe concussion caused by the punch to the head. After all, his brain could have been injured so badly that he exhibited signs of dementia. There is even speculation that he was on drugs, but this is unfounded and there is absolutely no proof to support it. What we do know is that Lars was struggling physically and psychologically, but he was never violent and he was never arrested. The locals said that they had seen a man matching his description wandering along roads and rail lines in the countryside, but each time the police arrived, he had vanished. It really seems as though he disappeared into thin air. His mother says that she believes Lars is alive somewhere, but his father is convinced that he is dead. Let's consider the different scenarios. If Lars was abducted, why did the abductors leave his passport and his phone behind? And if he did experience a mental breakdown, why did he strip naked and why did he eat tea? Try to call anyone or explain what had happened to him? We simply don't know. What we do know is that the Bulgarian authorities have done a pretty half-baked job of investigating the case. When Lars' family appealed for help, they were told that there was no case to investigate because he had disappeared voluntarily. Today, the case is still open, but the lead investigator has openly admitted that he is not optimistic that Lars will ever be found. And here is why. The main reason that the police think that Lars walked away voluntarily is because he was caught on camera doing exactly that. And it looks like such a normal thing to do. He just walks away from the airport and into the trees. And while this does seem to be the case, it doesn't explain why he left his identification behind or why he left the plane. Also, the video is open to interpretation. You could argue that someone forced Lars to run into the forest. Maybe he was abducted and somebody pushed him toward the camera to throw the police off his scent. The truth is, it's impossible to say what happened to Lars Mittank. This is one of the great unsolved mysteries of modern times. What do you think? Is Lars dead or alive? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like the video. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.